You've probably heard loads of doom and gloom stuff about AI lately, but what if I told you that AI could save your language and maybe even your life? I'm Sophia, I'm a journalist and content creator, and I got to spend 2 weeks in Ghana investigating artificial intelligence there. Some of the most exciting innovations on the entire African continent are happening here, but there's a catch. Not everyone's excited about it. In fact, if you believe the data, most are scared of it. I'm here to figure out what the obstacle is and whether all Ghanaians can and will benefit from the AI revolution. So to understand why I'm here, you need to get to know me a little bit better. I've been reporting on health, technology, gender for several years now for the BBC, for Vice News, and as a freelancer. The Lloyd's Foundation, who are a charity that support research and education to make the world a safer place, put out a very interesting storytelling challenge. It was connected to the World Risk Poll in 2021, and I noticed some very interesting questions in there about artificial intelligence. I am a big fan of AI. I use ChatGPT, Midjourney, and I've noticed a lot of the apps that I use have improved immeasurably because they've started incorporating AI. That says Sophia the individual. Sophia the journalist has reported a lot on artificial intelligence, but it's all tended to be bad stuff. It's been about things like deepfake pornography or political misinformation. If you feel like me, cognizant of the harms of AI, but still very optimistic about the benefits that it will be bringing to our lives, a lot of that is actually dependent on your geography. And that is why I applied for the Lloyd's Foundation grant, and that is also why I am in Ghana. The poll found a general trend. So if you live somewhere that's developing AI, you're more likely to feel positive about it, that it's going to be helpful in the next 20 years. And if you live somewhere that's not developing AI, you're more likely to feel negative, that it will be mainly harmful. Ghana is where Google set up their first AI research centre in the entire African continent. It is where there is an organic developer community, loads of interesting startups, and yet you would think that would make the population here feel optimistic about AI, and that's not the case. Ghana, like Central and Western African countries in general, has a population that is more likely to think AI will cause harm than be helpful in the next 20 years. And this is something the whole continent of Africa believes to varying degrees. It's a really different picture to, say, the US and the Middle East, who believe that AI will be as helpful as it will be harmful. And it's a really different picture from what people where I live think. People think across Europe that AI is going to be more helpful than harmful in the next 20 years. Well, in all that time that I've been covering health and technology and gender, a huge theme of my reporting and holding power to account is equality and equity. And inevitably in this world, inequality and inequity. The thing is, prior research tells us that populations are more likely to be positive about technological change when they think they're going to benefit from the economic growth. Late adopting countries benefit less because they tend not to be the innovators, they tend to be the end user, the customer, the people buying all this stuff. That is not how our information landscape should look in 2024. It should be much more equal, and people around the world should be able to physically, mentally, economically benefit from the AI revolution. So what do I want to find out while I'm here in Ghana? I want to find out why people have doubts about AI. And I want to hear from Ghanaian innovators themselves about how they think their whole social networks can be persuaded to see the benefits of AI and how they can be empowered to demand the information access to artificial intelligence that we all deserve. I know exactly what I have to do to get started. I need to head out into the streets of Accra and I need to ask people how they feel about AI. How do you feel about artificial intelligence? What do you know about it?
Yeah, in every situation there's positive and negative.
I'm not a fan of AI, especially when I got to know that you can use someone's voice on a different song, and it is not something that should be encouraged.
It's going to be faster, but it's going to cause unemployment too.
As a student, it makes my life easier because I take a long time to go through books before getting to know certain things. But also it makes me a little lazy.
Well, I think AI is great. I'm one person who admires innovation. I believe that the world is supposed to go forward and we are not supposed to go backwards. It means I have to upgrade myself to learn how to use it. Because while that is taking job away from someone else is getting a job. So I need to be that person getting a new job.
It's quite scary. Yeah, that's my view.
So I thought it was interesting that a lot of people who didn't want to speak to us because they didn't feel confident about AI. They felt like they maybe lacked the vocabulary to talk about it. And then the people that we did speak to, some people were really balanced, like they could see the good and the bad.
As one of the gentlemen we interviewed who said he's not scared because he felt that you need to be updated with whatever you are doing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like an encouragement to upgrade your own skill set, which is always a positive thing.
Yes.
But it's not positive if not everyone has access to that upgrade.
Very true.
Yeah. We didn't meet anyone who said they worked in AI either, so I need to talk to someone who does. And I've got a pretty good idea who. If you follow me, you know that I'm obsessed with languages, language learning, and something that I've always found very interesting about Ghana is the diversity of languages that are here. There are well over 70 across the country. How well represented do you think these languages are on the internet? You probably know English is the most dominant language on the internet. What you may not know is that fewer than 0.1% of websites around the world feature an African language or represent one. And what about Google Translate when it comes to Ghana? And that's what I want to show you here. So it was only in 2022 that Google Translate incorporated Twi and Ewe. And those are just two of the main languages here. As I said, there are more than 70. So I can't speak to Google Translate in Ewe or play it back to myself. It doesn't have that speech audio functionality. Let's try Twi. Nope, doesn't have it either. Let me just double check a couple of other major Ghanaian languages. Ga. Nope, there's no Ga. Let's try Dagbani. Nope, no Dagbani. If only there were developers here in Ghana who were trying to fill that space by creating their own app. Oh wait, that is exactly what's happening here, and I can't wait to introduce you.
So for instance, we have Chi, Dagbani, Ewe, Fanti, Ga, Bruni.
This is a volunteer-led AI translation app, and as you heard, it caters for way more languages than Google.
You input text, and then it will translate it for you, or you speak the language, and then it will record, transcribe, and then translate it for you. So Ghana NLP is an open source initiative where we work with the local languages in building AI systems and machine learning platforms and systems to help with real problems that we have with our local languages. Essentially, it's about preserving our culture and our languages. That, for me, it's a driving force, right? If we're able to get our languages on these platforms, we can impart the ordinary Ghanaian and the ordinary person to improve their lives in some way. So it could be online medical consultation, it could be business, it could be students learning from a teacher. So essentially, the fact that our platforms could be used to help people in that way also drives me, aside we keeping our language in a digital form. Our sources, our platform, being able to help people also drives me. Madam, is your accommodate Mami Dianindi? Even with among machine learning engineers and software developers, there's a little bit of apprehension and concern whether AI is going to take our jobs or not. So even among people who understand computers, there's that concern and that uncertainty. So you can imagine the fear that the ordinary person has. The ordinary person also has those concerns. But the good thing is, if you help them to appreciate how AI can help them and how it can alleviate their work and make it much easier, then they tend to appreciate it a bit more.
I think it's a good app, just that there could be some there are some vocabularies in the native language that it cannot translate. But on the whole, you get the concepts, what the person is trying to mean. Yeah, so it's good.
I have a question. Would that all have worked using Google Translate or not?
It wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't be able to capture a language in, say, Fra or Dande. That is just part of it. And then the second thing is Google Translate will not be able to capture what we have done here. The transcription and then the translation, it will not be able to do it. But ours is able to do it. However, I would like to mention, as she spoke about that, ours is not very perfect, but it is quite good. And then hopefully we hope to improve on it, right?
But one of the reasons it takes so long to improve is because of the size of data required to train AI on.
In terms of how much we need at the very least 1 terabyte data source in Chi. And if you are translating that into numbers, I would say for each person we need about 1 million sentences just to begin with.
That is an enormous body of text for any language, never mind languages that are primarily spoken rather than written, and that is the case for most Ghanaian languages. These are languages that often have extremely rich oral traditions and less of a historical focus on literary ones. So Felix's team had to figure out a way to get all that text together. And again, it's an effort that's almost completely unpaid.
So where are we going now?
So we are going to the office of the Dagbani Wikimedians User Group, an affiliate of the Wikimedia Foundation and also a registered non-profit organization based in Tamale right here in Sanar Wokoko. And we will be having like a Wikipedia chit-chat with Sophia from UK, and she will be meeting a lot of Wikimedians from the northern region, like especially Dagbani contributors, Mori, Gruni, and Kusal contributors. So we are going to have a very nice time with Sophia.
Yay, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Dagbani has more than 3 million speakers, and these Wikipedia editors are so proud of their language that they are filling Wikipedia with it. But these individuals are also perfect for helping to build AI. Why? Well, they're already volunteers who want to improve our information spaces online, and they already know how to generate original, accurate text in their language.
I always wanted to see the Dagbani language visible on the digital space. I wanted to see it visible. But then, anytime I went online to search about some materials about Dagbani language, I couldn't find any. What is happening is that if information about the language is not online, that means these people who don't understand English but can read and write in their languages, when they go to the internet, they can't find any information. I was part of those who gathered the text in Dagbani and did the audio recording and then uploaded it onto the platform. Yeah.
Even though AI is a technology platform that anybody at all can build a tool that would work well, we still need the people who understand the language, especially for natural language processing and also like automatic speech recognition. To produce the files, you need to be original. You need to be able to produce the words in their original format, not somebody with other accent or that who doesn't understand the words, their pronunciations at all. Even though machine works with all kinds of voices, you still need the community that understands the language better.
Generating original text and audio here helped make the Kaya AI app happen. And maybe naively, I assumed that would mean everyone would be very positive about artificial intelligence. But I wasn't completely right.
But sometimes when you ask the AI, they end up by giving you wrong answers due to the way we rely on it.
The idea that you were having would have been much better than what that app is having for you. So I think it takes our jobs.
So you can just use it to help yourself so that you'll be able to get time and then do your house chores again. And it will also help us to also be in the same line with the men, because they are not doing anything. They don't do anything. So in case they they don't have their workload is very small. Yes. So with this AI thing, with this AI thing, we'll be able to match with them because we are having like something that will help us to also learn more. So
if AI is going to make them, match us, then AI will be harmful to us. So I strongly disagree that AI is going to be more harmful.
So it's not that AI is going to take your job, it's that women are going to take over the world. That's what I understood from that.
Something that is coming up, building a woman who can perform any job that the real woman can perform. So that he's saying that it's going to pose a lot of problem to us in future, because if a man can have access to such a device that can give him all that he needs from a woman, what would he have to do with any other woman again?
Have you heard here about AI girlfriends?
Once you program a computer to perform a particular task, it does it and does it perfectly, right? So these AI girlfriends would definitely get to learn and have emotions. And once they have emotions, they get to know your feelings, and like they do most of the house chores. They
How?
Oh my goodness.
How can a chatbot? That was hilarious, but it also shows what happens when a human meets machine. The gender equality or relationship issues we may have in real life reappear in our digital lives too. What I really felt as an outsider, however, was how this AI project also helped bring everyone together and reaffirm the value of their language. Dagbani has an increased digital presence because of them, and in the future, that's going to make sure Dagbani is preserved and documented whatever happens. It's really cool to hear that AI is being used to save languages in Ghana, but that's not the only use case. It's being used to save lives. And if you follow me, we're going to go now to a diagnostics centre that has been using artificial intelligence to speed up diagnoses.
Most of the examinations that we do, especially x-rays, the predominant ones are chest x-rays, and then the common pathologies that we encounter here, the common ones are usually pneumonia, chest infections. So this is the x-ray machine. When we take an x-ray of a patient, we send the result to a radiologist. So the radiologist looks at the x-ray and then identifies the pathologies. If I say pathologies, as any abnormality. In AI, there is a system that's, instead of sending it to the radiologist, we place it in the AI system. And if there are any pathologies, the AI will identify these pathologies and then give a diagnosis. We have our radiologist here, that's Dr. Jima. I think he'll be the best person to answer.
So I've just been hearing that AI was taken up here pretty quickly because there's a tech-savvy, tech-optimistic workforce here. But I know that's not the case necessarily with other places around Ghana, and in terms of how ready a radiologist is to suddenly start using artificial intelligence and not be remotely worried or concerned about it. So what would your message be to other medical professionals in the country?
For us here, it's actually Raj has 3 diagnostic centers. It makes my work very easy. The AI actually screens. It does what we call screening. So the confidence level for picking up normal x-rays or normal chest x-rays is very high. So if the AI tells you this x-ray is normal, in most cases it's normal. But if the AI is able to pick up the slightest abnormality, then it comes to me to do a formal report. So the AI is not taking away my work. So I have no fear that AI is coming to take my work. The stage where AI will make the work easier, it makes the work faster, it reduces the workload, and it actually sharpens the kind of results that we churn out. And for us as Rad Diagnostics, it's a game changer for us.
The confidence level, even though it's low, but the confidence level on the infiltration is almost 50%.
Let's take infiltration as an example first. Could you describe to me how long it would traditionally take to diagnose that, and how long it took to diagnose that with AI?
I mean, any good radiologist will be able to diagnose infiltration in few seconds or minutes, of course, but writing the report, probably would take time, depending on what time you have. AI probably took us like 30 seconds or 15, depends on how fast the internet is. If you have a very fast internet, it shouldn't take us more than 15 seconds to tell you, oh, there's an infiltration here. Okay.
So if we look at the numbers in Ghana, for example, if you take radiology in Ghana, we have about 50 radiologists, right? And so if you look at the ratio of people to radiologists, you're looking at somewhere around 500, 600,000 people to a single radiologist. So guys, let's just set up everything for the recording, right?
Here we are in Darlington's office. This is Mino Health, the company behind the AI diagnostics tool, and this is Darlington, the founder. His tech is being used worldwide now, not just in Ghana. I want to find out what he makes of the poll data that found most people here are not as confident as he is about AI.
Our angle is that build AI solutions that can automate some of the tasks that doctors do, and these AI solutions can empower the few existing doctors that we have so that they provide care to people. So we actually have AI solutions that already do this within Ghana.
It sounds so important what it is that you're doing. I want to tell you about yesterday and my experience walking up and down the streets trying to talk to people and find out how they feel about AI. People who, random members of the public probably don't work in AI, and they may also have limited experience of it. And a lot of people didn't feel comfortable being interviewed about it because they just felt like they didn't know anything. Then there's the survey data that I've come here for. The survey asked 1,000 Ghanaians, that was the sample. Do you think artificial intelligence will mostly help or mostly harm people in this country in the next 20 years? Both men and women were more likely to say it would harm than help.
So I think people need to see more of the benefits. The other thing is that they need confidence in the people building the solution. They need to know that these things are being built responsibly. So clearly we need to do a better job of communicating. These are all the, responsible approaches, ethical approaches. I would say, yes, let's acknowledge the fears that people have about AI. Some of it might be just the mere fact that they don't understand it. So let's do a better job of explaining it and letting them know the realistic dangers and the dangers that are not realistic. As of 2023, you're not going to have like Terminator walking down the street attacking you. It's not realistic, but you can have AI bias, you can have all of those things. And then let them understand what is being done and what could be done to curb those dangers.
Allaying fears, taking ethical and responsible decisions, it's easier said than done, and there are a lot of people involved in doing those things. It's not only developers like Darlington, it's regulators, it's the government, it's big tech, and here in Ghana, there is literally the biggest of tech.
I think it's finally time to ask some questions and learn some things at one of the most important centres for artificial intelligence in Accra, which is Google. So that's what we're going to do today.
Sophia Smith-Gaylan, I'm a freelance journalist and content creator from the UK.
Great to have you, Sophie.
I was invited to Google's press day here and I learned about some awesome projects that I want to show you. So here are a few things that they are currently working on here in Ghana. One is the Open Buildings dataset that's creating a database of buildings across Africa. This will change everything from developing infrastructure to ensuring everyone, no matter how remote, gets humanitarian aid. There was a weather forecasting project estimating regional weather forecasts here, which traditionally have been left out by international efforts. And there was also flood forecasting that uses advanced machine learning to predict flooding events with precision. I also heard about some healthcare efforts with similar goals to what Darlington expressed, but interestingly, no showing off about AI translation efforts or projects. Google's VP for Research and Engineering tuned in, and I wasn't going to let the opportunity slip by.
Since arriving in Ghana, I've learned that Tree and Airway were incorporated into Google Translate in 2022, which is a lot later than other languages. And I was really curious to hear about whether there'll be further expansion of Ghanaian languages on Google Translate, and also how much artificial intelligence might be part of helping to represent more African languages on Google Translate?
I think that languages is one of the areas that is of the top importance, because languages is really how we communicate and how we consume content. So, for example, the fact that one of the examples of how we can actually cross by having better translation, and not only translation, so it's about translation, it's about voice, it's about language understanding, but we know that there are thousands of languages in Africa, so that's, in a way, this is kind of the moonshot that we declared at Google a few years ago about how to have more inclusivity for more languages. When we had the launch event of the new office you were sitting at just last year, one of the key activities that we had in that event was actually bringing together developers to actually work on various techniques to try and bring more languages to that. So I think this is extremely important. We're definitely investing in that, and definitely I think this is very important to have progress on all these languages. By the way, not only by Google. I was really encouraged during Indaba to meet various startups and other organizations that are doing more efforts on that. And we are working with universities to see how to do more about that. So thanks for the question. I think it's really one of the more important things is to bring more languages, technology to more languages, so we can actually support better communication for more people and better access to information and knowledge to more people, especially today with generative AI that actually depends on also better understanding languages. This becomes even more bigger opportunity and more work that needs to be done here.
They didn't quite answer me why it took them so long to even get Twi and Ewe, or what other languages we may see in the future. So more clarity on that I think would be really good, considering all the things we've learned this week about Kaya app and all the brilliant work that's being done by Ghana NLP. My hunch has also been confirmed, so I think that people don't feel like AI is going to harm them because nothing positive is happening. Look how many positive things we've learned today about what's being done with AI, what innovators are trying to achieve with it. I think it's more that people are scared about AI because they simply don't know that stuff like this is happening. This was a day for journalists, and there weren't actually that many Ghanaian journalists here. In the UK, I am inundated with stories and videos and tools that promise to make me more productive if I use AI, or use this AI thing and you'll be more creative. It tends to be very individualistic and all about making me a more efficient worker or entrepreneur. I have spent 2 weeks in Ghana and I have witnessed a community language documentation and information access effort that is representing Ghanaian languages where big tech has not. I have seen a healthcare tool that is saving lives where the existing healthcare system is delaying diagnosis. And I've learned about agricultural methods using AI that's going to help Ghana in areas where historically Africa has been really technologically underserved. It's not only Ghanaians, I think it's people everywhere need to hear more about the incredible innovation that's happening in Ghana. The government here does talk about regulation. We've seen in this documentary how developers behind AI think about it too. But to assure the general public in this country that AI would do more good than harm, it's clear that much better communication about innovation needs to take place. It's important to address that AI literacy will only come with good education access, and an acknowledgement that AI tools are often developed because there are problems going otherwise unsolved. It's especially obvious in a country where big tech has decided not to translate all the languages, or where the healthcare system is too under-resourced to train enough doctors. For now, it feels like AI is presenting some of the fastest solutions for Ghana. The question is whether any of this will make people here feel more positive about it.